Hello, I'm Megan Catherin, and I wanted to give you guys just a demonstration of how I use Oracle cards. And it kind of came to me earlier in the day that sometimes people don't really have faith in their own way. And we're all about mystic way, right? You are a mystic master. You are remembering how to utilize that information that lives beyond yourself here, your higher self, the higher consciousness. So, oracle cards are a great way to connect in and to get information that goes beyond what you already know or what you think you should be doing. So let's start, and I'm just going to demonstrate how I have done cards for years. And to be honest, I don't do them that much. But there was a time when I started this journey over 13 years ago, and I gave myself a reading every day. My intention was to discover what it was that I needed to know in order to have a better life. So I was on this pathway of ascension. I didn't understand that's what it was, but enlightenment. And I was looking to clear all the old patterns and concerns and just get into a better space, health-wise, wealth-wise, my life in general, finding that internal peace of myself, to bring myself to that bliss. And so I really gave it up to source, to the knowing that there is something beyond me and it can lead me. Always had free will to say no to any of it, but the way that I would do my oracle readings, my personal readings, was to start with the concept that I was coming from a higher place, that only good could be brought through, that everything that was given to me was helpful and useful to me in some way. So I knew that I would understand it even if I didn't at the time. So I'd let myself unfold with it. So that's my recommendation in doing a reading. So let's just start. The cards that chose us today are the archetypes and shadows from Chuck Spenzano. So this is an interesting pack. I have the cards, and I always start with the intention and knowing it's my higher self. So let's do that as we invite in the guides, the higher consciousness, and that of the highest caliber from source that can aid and guide and assist. So, getting into your own space, being in your own center. It is important to be centered, to get into the calmness and to get into the intent. Now, you could start with a question. I chose very rarely to do that unless something really presented itself to me. Instead, I chose for source and higher consciousness to guide me. My higher self was guiding me, Megan, the ego, the brain, the body, the physical spirit that is accommodated in here, from the higher spirit that isn't yet accommodated, but I was learning to connect to again and to allow its leadership. So that's where we at. My question or my first card would always be, what is my priority focus? And that's how I always had it. What is the focus that my higher self wants to bring my attention to? And that's what we're going to do right now. So I'm just going to shuffle these cards up here where you can see. And you'll notice that something just popped right up out there. I tend to go with that. If I'm sitting there and nothing's really happening, then I might spread the cards out and run my hand across and just be in that, which card am I looking for? Otherwise, I tend to allow the cards themselves to produce and come forward, and it seems to work. So again, trusting myself. Protector. This is the focus. And I guess makes sense, right? This card is the focus. We are looking at what are we connecting to? But I'm not going to read these cards yet. And this is how I would always do it. I would start with what is my focus? And I would pull that card out. I would then check, do I need a second card? Do I need more information around this priority focus? No, I don't feel that I do. The second card that I would pull would be, what is that information that I need to know? Here it is. What is it that I maybe don't know about? What have I not been looking at? We have monster. Interesting cards, right? And they do, when I first got these cards, that would bring up a lot of fear in me, just that picture itself. So I'd be like, okay, I've been ignoring fear or whatever it might be. This is the energy coming forward for me to address. Okay, so middle card, next card is what is it that I need to know? What is it I maybe am ignoring, wasn't aware of, broadening my understanding around this focus. Okay. Do I need another card? It would be my question. I also sometimes check, if it's like I do need a card, but I don't kind of feel like it's from here. Oh, is it needed from another pack, etc. Right? Lots of broadening can happen. You got to follow those little tweaks and hunches. That's the point of it, right? You're expanding into that connection to your higher self. No, I don't feel like we need another card. So the final one would be kind of what is that key or the transformational space I'm moving towards? What is it? It's not necessarily outcome per se, but it could be classed as outcome, could be classed as future self. But what is it that is kind of key for me here when we're moving from this priority focus knowledge? What is that about? What is it that I'm not really aware of or need to understand and address? And then what is it that's going to take me there? How else am I going to, what is the shift I'm looking for? Where am I moving to, transforming? Key space that I'm going to get to. What's that doorway? So it's kind of broad. The way I used to write it, and this is what I would do, was write down what the cards were and keep a little journal of it. And I would just write focus and then state what card it was and my flags. It feels like a guide, anything that I felt drawn to and so forth. And then I would write I used to write, information, like more data. And then I'd write key transformation, like where I was going to. It's very similar to past, present, future, but we're not really looking at past. Past tends to be things in the middle that you might not be aware of. And the now is the future is the now where you're moving towards. But the priority is the thing to look at right now. So I hope that doesn't confuse. Sometimes I over talk things. Okay, vampire. This is the final card. That transformational movement. So that could be another scary kind of card, but I don't look at things like that now. I look at what I'm feeling or what I'm perceiving it to be. Do I need another card for this final one? I feel like we do. Okay, maybe because it's a heavy card. Okay, and I just got the feeling to stop and take the top card. So I didn't pop out, but take the top card came to my mind. And the Fool. Okay, so interesting set of cards. Let's see if we can decipher them or see what wants to be spoken through that. And I guess a lot of it comes to my own journey here. So this is where I would then sit with these cards and look at them, see how I feel with them, what I'm drawn to. This concept of protector was totally about why I would use cards, right? Why I felt the need to go in there was that I felt like a child who was lost and I needed guidance. And where is that guidance? In the higher self, in the spirit guides, in the oneness, in the source. And I began to learn and confirm and communicate that these things were there and that I was heading in the right directions, going into my deep shadow work to bring forward my higher values and my higher self and to eradicate that fear, right? So, protector, the focus. How am I connecting into that where I feel protected, where I feel strong, where I am traveling with spirit and higher self? And we're as one, moving together. That was basically the journey. That is ascension. That is what you're aiming to look at. So protect a card for our focus. And maybe you're feeling unprotected. Maybe you still have fears to deal with, and that maybe brings up this next card. So, what is the information? What is the fears? What are the shadows? What are the needs that you need to proceed through? And that was where I was. What did I need to proceed through? I had a lot of shadow, a lot of fear, a lot of monsters under the bed. And it was around my psychic abilities that I didn't have an awareness of initially. So this was very different for me, very, wow, what am I doing here kind of feeling. But I learned to not question it. I learned to go with it because I was getting results. I was getting over my fears. I was discovering new ways to do things. I was getting past my habits. I was things where I was sabotaging myself or sticking to friendships and relationships that were unhealthy, having bad mindset around things, being judgmental and horrible and not even being aware that I was like that, speaking in terms of hate and dislike, and a lot of that internal aggravation, the internal monster within the shitty committee, right? So this was just the information, and this is kind of the journey of enlightenment, which is what my channel is, Megan Catherin Enlightenment. So this is the pathway to deal with your monsters, and that'll be the information you'll be given is which monster to deal with next, what the shadow work that is required to alleviate yourself of that heavy energy, which is this vampire energy. So we want to be able to move to where vampires don't have the ability to grab a hold of us. Okay. And I mean this in terms of energetic strength, where, and that's it. This is it, where you're moving from what looks like a fool to a very humorous person. And you can feel like that. You can feel like people are like, oh God, she's such a fool playing around with cards. What a load of rubbish. But look at a happy person. Look at the one that's juggling life in a really easy way. That is the truth. So you're not being a fool by playing with cards. You're not being a fool by listening to your higher self. You are being a fool if you let yourself live in the vampiric world of the Matrix. You are being fooled. You are feeding the machine. And that is not necessarily what I want to be doing. And that was where I felt like I was losing my energy. I was fading away. And it was this vampiric sort of energy where I was even giving my energy away. Just like, here, have it, have it. Let me help smooth your anger. Let me help smooth your sadness. Let me help do. I was so weakening myself on a constant basis, feeding the machine, feeding the monsters, feeding all those things. And, it's not that they're out there grabbing me. Yeah, maybe that's happening and you have those awarenesses over time. But what it is you start to understand that I'm not going to be the fool anymore. I'm not going to play the idiot to other people's energetic games. I have my guardian angels with me. I have that information that can help me psychically understand, telepathically read, and get in charge of the energy that I am, to work through the shadows so that stuff doesn't start to shake oh my God, someone's being horrible and all this, and I get triggered. All right. No, I'm getting my own power back. That is the nature of utilizing cards. You really do have your own power. You're tuning into that and you're getting that guidance. You're getting what is the priority focus for the now moment. Okay, today, what is my priority focus? And it will help you to understand your healing journey and your revealing journey, where you become the more powerful one. And it doesn't matter how people see you or what they think you are, you live like this. And eventually, you're going to feel like you are protected, you are in control, and you are bettering yourself step by step by step through the use of cards. So this tool is an amazing tool. And don't listen to anyone that says you're being an idiot, who doesn't understand it, who isn't willing to have faith in their higher self, or that there's even a connection to that, hasn't got the ability to expand into that new consciousness that's waiting for them. You do, and you are here to do that. Well done. So that's just an example of how I use cards and a little teaching that came through the cards. And if you have any questions or want to add in how you use cards, what you think or do, or any tips, please put them in the comments. We'd love to hear from you and have fun with it. You will find that when you don't fully understand stuff, obviously there's books and you could go into the book. You might then be overwhelmed by the page. So remember, check, is everything on this page what I need to know? Maybe run your finger down and you'll be like, oh, hang on, this sentence here. The old wise woman knows the importance of relationships and recognizes them as the central aspect of our lives. Do I feel like the next sentence? She typically emanates qualities of love, nurturing, comfort, and sanctuary. She brings the wisdom of the goddess and displays naturalness around her body. So there you go. This is all available. You can use cards, and I hope you have I know you'll have a wonderful time utilizing them, because they really do open up your mind and expand you into taking control of your energetic being, your energy management, your life management.